Amanda, we're ready when you are.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I hope you had a nice month off and did some fun summer things. Okay, so I would like to call the meeting to order at 6:09. And then we'll go on to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Is there someone you'd like to lead for the Pledge of Allegiance, a person, or would you like to lead it?
Would anybody like to volunteer?
I can lead it.
Thank you.
Everybody stand. Put your hand over your shoulder.
Allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, everyone be seated. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to roll call. Rosalinda, here. Victoria Murray.
If I can interrupt, Chair Chiato, she just let us know that she wasn't going to be available to attend today's meeting.
Thank you. And then that just, Tina, that just gets recorded in the minutes as an excused absence. Is that how that works?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you. Christina Ross. Vice Chair Anthony Rojas.
Here.
And I'm also here. Okay. Tina, remind me how I do the verification. I just asked, was the agenda posted accordingly?
Yes, and then I give a report.
Okay. Was the agenda posted accordingly? And Tina, can you give us your report?
Yes, the agenda was posted on Friday, August 6, 2021 at the Hollister Community Center and here at City Hall per Government Code Section 54954.2.
Thank you, Tina. Did everybody have a chance to look over the June minutes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, and do we have a motion for approval of the June minutes?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, Christina Ross makes the first motion. Anybody else? A second?
Second.
I approve. Oh, sorry.
Sanchez.
Oh. Okay, Rosalinda made the second motion and the approval passes. Is that appropriate protocol, Tina?
By roll call vote. Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Commissioner Ross?
Yes.
Vice Chair Rojas?
Yes.
Chair Chiato?
Yes. Okay, I didn't miss anything, did I, there? Was
No.
somebody?
So
Okay.
your next step is you'll ask if there's any public comment and then staff will respond.
Thank you. Okay, is there any public comment?
We have Roland Resendez. Go ahead, Roland.
Thank you, sir. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. My name is Roland Resendez. I'm the current Vice Mayor of the City of Hollister. I think I know all of you here, so I just first of all want to congratulate you guys and acknowledge that you guys are stepping up to the plate to serve as commissioners. So congratulations to you guys. Thank you for allowing me to address you guys. I'm very excited about this particular commission. It's new and we've got some very qualified commissioners, if I must say. leading the way. So I'm very glad that you guys stepped up to serve, and I'm excited to see you do so. I had heard some discussion at the last commission meeting, and I thought that maybe myself and Councilmember Burns can come and talk to the commission. One of the things that I was most interested in is I think that one of the first items that the commission would hope to take on, one of the endeavors, is to try to generate some sustainable revenue. I heard you guys talk about how artists are often not paid what they're worth, or they're just told, you know, we can give you exposure, and that seems to be a big problem. And what I would like to see the commission and the city council eventually look at is possibly passing an impact fee for any new development, and then the new development would either do one of two things. They can either have a requirement that there's an art component to every part of the development, like a certain percentage, and if not, then they can pay into what's called an in lieu fee. The in lieu fee would then go to the Arts and Culture Commission and be earmarked to help hire local artists or whatever you decide to put up art around the city of Hollister. So that was one idea that I had wanted to share with you. I know lots of other cities are doing this. They're very successful. So I would like for you guys to consider possibly looking at passing an impact fee to help support and sustain the arts financially. A couple of other things I thought you mentioned, I'm not sure, but maybe possibly getting a grant writer, and maybe the council can consider giving you some money, some seed money to start getting a grant writer to generate some revenue. And then I had heard Commissioner Rojas mention like legacy funds, you know, possibly people that want to leave, you know, monies to the arts and whatnot. But I think that in order to start generating some revenue, this is probably one of the first things the commission should consider. So it's up to you guys. Again, thank you guys so much for your service. I'm excited for you guys. Congratulations.
Thank you, Roland. It's nice to hear your thoughts. Do we have further public comment?
We have no other speakers.
Okay. We're going to move on to old business. Under old business number 1, a mission and vision statement. Tina?
Sorry, I didn't have it on. Yes, here we have, I set up a Google Docs. I think I sent it out yesterday with just some generic information of our bylaws, kind of the information that's set in the city's bylaws for any other commission, whether it be Parks and Recreation, Planning, or Airport. And then with that, I did put mission and a vision statement, and I think that our Vice Chair Rojas has some ideas that he would like to share with us.
Yes. I guess we can build upon it, but just a little mission statement. You know, the Hollister Arts and Culture Commission envisions the greater of San Benito County region, and its mission could be to connect, promote, and empower the county by programs and activities in the arts. And then I have just a list of just, you know, different words that we could put in to the vision statement of what we all truly believe could be our commission's mission statement. Any other, anybody else want to build up on that?
I think if we share that in our Google Docs, everyone else will be able to review it and add, or if it's what the mission, what the commission would like, then we can bring it to City Council.
Yeah, I could, as long as any other commissioner could draft out maybe different mission statements. We could see what is the same, our same vision, and then maybe add on anybody else's thing that maybe we left out that we all would agree on.
Okay.
That sounds great. And I asked Tina a question earlier too about working in the Google Doc, like the preferred method of instead of editing, like commenting, if that's the preferred method, so we can retain what other individuals had put inside of the Google Doc and then kind of use it as a commenting place versus editing other people's, writing until we determine what's the final draft we want.
I agree, yes.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Amanda, I'm not sure if you heard, but we have Vice Chair Rojas and Commissioner Ross here, and they both agree with your idea. Commissioner Sanchez, do you have a comment?
No, I'm in agreement as well.
So just to further clarify, it's not editing other people's statements, but maybe having a section somewhere where we can all post our different statements. That way, no one's getting their thoughts erased or anything. Is that what I heard, Chair Amanda?
Yeah, I think so. Like we could draft our own, or if we like somebody else's, we can just, instead of going under edit, there's a comment option. So you could ask questions, or you could, maybe make a clarifying statement or something like that. And that way kind of everybody's ideas are there, but we're also responding to each other's.
Definitely.
Okay. And am I clear that in the bylaws that the three top elements there, the mission, vision, purpose, they're all blank right now because we're still kind of in that drafting space?
That's correct.
Okay. I just was like, uh-oh, did I miss something there? Okay. Great.
I also have a question. So the vision statement, I don't see an actual mission statement. Will there be vision and mission, or is this just the vision right now?
I think the mission is like the goal, and I guess like the vision is how we make it happen, I think.
No, I understand that. What I'm trying to understand is I don't see a vision or a mission statement. I only see vision statement.
I think
Should we just type that in? Is that what we should do? Yeah. Do you want me to do that?
I think we would probably consider the vision statement the mission statement, and then the goals are
Okay.
separate.
Yeah. All right.
And then technically actions would be how to achieve those goals.
Right. So I think the vision statement is the mission statement. Yeah, it would be.
So the vision statement and the mission statement typically and traditionally are two different things. In other words, one does expand. The mission is typically shorter, but the vision expands on that to get more background on the mission. So we need both, yeah.
So just add it to the mission. Add it to the bylaws.
Yeah, I'm like
Okay.
actually in there. If you guys want me to type the mission statement, like that part of it, like here.
I'm for it.
And I do believe too, Commissioner Sanchez, that in the body of the bylaws that we could pull some language from there, like that's succinct around the mission to further arts and culture in the community of Hollister, something like this. And then the vision is that big picture, right? And we could do the same thing with the vision and mission too, as each kind of bring up some language around both of those things and then consolidate similar ideas and address questions. Okay.
So are we starting with the vision statement and then being able to, and then going on to mission statement?
I feel like it goes mission and then vision. Commissioner Sanchez, what do you think?
Yeah, so I wrote actually both the mission and a vision statement recently in the last, 8 months. And what we did was we created the vision being the broader scope. And then from the vision, we extracted the mission, which was, more like 4 sentences, whereas the vision was like 4 paragraphs. So that's was my process. I don't know if that's the process that everybody else is interested in going through.
And would that also be different between the purpose and the goals? I'm for it too, but would it be different from the purpose and the goals? The mission statement?
So, yeah, so well, at least in my assessment, the purpose and the goals are typically within the vision statement, but if we want, and I think this is where we decide, right, if we want it differently, right, is do we also want to have two other statements aside from the vision and the mission statement? Is that something that was brought up? Did someone type that in there? Is that something we wanted to do? Like, I don't know how that came about. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
If I can clarify, this is Tina. If I can clarify, I just kind of put some different content in there. So if the commission decides they want just to announce what our goals are, or if we want the mission and vision, but typically with your mission, your vision, the purpose and goals kind of go into your mission. And so we could delete the purpose and goals to avoid any other type of confusion and just focus on our mission statement and our vision statement. But I just put different ideas into the draft just to have content and then conversation.
I think to make it as simple but also straight to the point of what we want to do, I think a vision and a mission would probably be all that we needed.
I agree. I think the vision is more purpose and the mission is more goals. What do you think? That there's some maybe something is synonymous about those, and you could use that language within it. You know, the purpose is, you know, as you articulate further and more deeply, like Commissioner Sanchez was talking about, and getting a little bit more in depth, but yeah, having something really succinct, and then kind of like some of those targets within that, I think would be a really clean way to organize it.
I agree.
In the draft, I can go in and delete purpose and goals and add mission. I'm adding mission statement? Okay.
I think
Just for
Commissioner
clarification.
Sanchez already did that.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Okay, so it's clear to everybody right now. We're just in the coming month, right? Tina will kind of work on this as a working document together, and then try to come up with something at our next meeting that feels really close to what our vision and mission are.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. Commissioner Ross has a question.
Commissioner Ross?
I'm just looking at our examples that we had checked out last meeting. So the Gilroy public art policy, and then the public art or the arts commission at Santa Cruz. They seem to both have purpose in there. I don't know if it's really up to us to kind of decide, and their purpose is just like a paragraph. Is it just up to us to what we want to include in these bylaws?
Well, if I can comment on that, yeah, like we decide. So if we want to leave purpose and goals there, then that essentially would be the same thing as vision and mission. But I think that traditionally, in most cases where you get a mission, you also have a vision that accompanies it. So the purpose and goals, I believe, at least from what I've seen too in other places, it just takes the place of that because it becomes redundant at the point. You're going to find that we're going to restate a lot of the information that we're already going to add in the vision and mission statement.
Commissioner Ross, I went back to my notes as well, and when I read this, the city of Gilroy under purpose, I put /mission because I thought that was their mission statement, that it was just phrased as purpose. I like the goal. I do like goals. I think it's, I love that it's actionable. So I think that's really relevant. But like Commissioner Sanchez was saying, maybe when we see all of kind of what's overlapping or redundant, we can just kind of squeeze it and consolidate it and make it really, impactful that way.
Right, and as Chair Chiara was saying, we could put those words into the vision, or, we could say the goal is, the purpose of this is, cuts a lot of the confusion, I think.
Okay, sorry. I just am coming and just, you can totally tell me to stop, but just because I work on awareness campaigns with my students, and so there's a mission statement, which is really just a sentence, and then there's goals, and then there's actions of how to achieve those goals. So anyway, that's just where my brain has been. And then I also, this is probably getting ahead, but I like also that they're explaining like the role of the committee, role of the and like duties and responsibilities, which maybe those are more actions. Anyhow, sorry to confuse anything anymore.
I agree. I was kind of desiring a little bit more of that, but I didn't know if that was like a separate document or if the actions would be something more like a strategic planning type of document that goes alongside this, over the course of a 3-year period or something like that. I didn't know how that worked. If this was really a more general overlay and that embedded within it would be some more kind of concrete actionable items. Yeah, so I had those questions as well.
I definitely do think it's important to put actions. Why? What are we doing, right? So I don't know if we can slide that into the mission or the vision, or have a separate area for actions. I mean, I think this is why we have these meetings and discussions, to really break down how we want, our this whole beginning part of this bylaw. So.
That
Um,
go ahead.
Can
sorry.
yeah. So basically the vision is kind of like what our hopes and dreams are, right? So it's like we want to do all of this sort of thing. Like these are the different things that we're trying to achieve. And then the mission is then extracted and then the mission being the purpose, like Commissioner Chairperson Chiato said, is then the mission is this is exactly what the goal is or the purpose is, right, of the commission. And then, yes, I think we're to that point where you have actionable items, right? But I'm looking at all these articles, right? Are the articles also a part of that, or the articles are essentially just our sort of rules of engagement? So I'm kind of looking through this, and so we're talking about then probably two different documents or two different things that were two different subject matters, I guess is what I'm getting at, because the actionable items are going to be by project. Is that right?
I understand what you're saying. What this is, the bylaws is, what I presented to our commission is a draft that shows content on all of our other commissions, our Parks and Recreation, our planning, and some of the language is similar on with the expectation of a commissioner. When we have meetings, you follow the what is it called? Help me out, you guys. Robert
Like
rules, yeah.
Protocols or
Yeah, yes. But if we want to create a different document and call it maybe just the policy, or I'm not sure. Maybe we can remove the mission statement, our vision statement, our purpose and goals, and create a separate document, but still attach it and present it to the city council for approval. So what we have on the different articles is just a document that we provide to all of our commissioners, what our expectations, what the city, what our council expects from an appointed commissioner. Attendance policy, their duties. So if we want to, we could create a separate document.
It looks
And-
like. Sorry, go ahead.
And this would, so this would go to our council as our bylaws, and then our mission statement and everything else on there could be more of a policy, or I don't know what another word is for it, but, or we can just call it our mission.
I'm looking at the City of Santa Cruz one, and it includes all of the information that you've provided already. So it
Okay.
looks as though it all can be in one.
Okay. Yeah.
So if it was one total document with kind of like a policy piece and then the bylaws piece, would it be called a policy with both of those embedded within it?
I think I'm gonna have to get clarification from our city clerk, but I think we have to create our bylaws, and our bylaws are right here, the draft that I provided. And I think that our mission statement and all the other things can either be a policy, or we just put it as part of our bylaws. But I'm gonna get clarification from the city clerk.
Okay, that makes sense. So if those are going to potentially be two separate items at this point, do we just want to move into the discussion about the bylaws?
We can, yes, and then, but I still would like us to work on this document and still write in our mission statement, our vision, kind of still continue to create that by our next meeting.
And do we
If
do
that
th-
is,
yeah?
okay.
And do we do that by each coming up with our own, what we believe, and then kind of comparing them at the next meeting? I mean, I want to make it as simple as possible as well. You know, I know, if I can imagine if a resident were to be reading this, they wouldn't want to be reading. They want to know, okay, we'll get to the point. What are you guys doing? What is the purpose of this? You know, and having all these different sections, I think, is just might be a little too much.
Too
But I definitely want to include everything that we definitely need to.
I'd rather us share the document under a draft, so that we can all work on it together. And then hopefully by our next meeting, we can have something solid to where once we put it together, we can either approve it or go back and edit something.
Sure.
That sounds really good.
Okay.
So are we gonna do any brainstorming together right now, or are we doing that on our own?
I think that's where we wanted some clarification, or where we will have a mission statement and a vision statement, from what I understood. You guys' discussion, or if Chair Chiata, if you want to clarify. Chiato, sorry.
That's okay, no problem. Council member, I'm sorry, I'm still learning here. Commissioner Ross, what do you recommend? Are you interested in having a discussion, especially about some specific language, some guiding language, and even Commissioner Sanchez, since you were just working on mission vision? Do we want to discuss some options now? Because I know Vice Chair Rojas already described kind of what his thoughts were.
I'm up for it. We're all here. I think that if it's a possibility, let's go for it and just even get some words that were like some key terms that we're definitely wanting to include, and then, you know, kind of rough it out, and then maybe be able to rework it, you know, as needed. And that's my thought. Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Is it okay if we're going to do that? Is it okay if I maybe copy in a little bit of a vision that I already have written before, and maybe if it sparks conversation or sparks any kind of inspiration, can I do that?
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
Yeah. Okay. Here's. Okay. It's just going to be a little bit of a excerpt. Yeah, but I don't know how much I can fit in there. Is there, unless I'm not, I do have the chat function, right?
I do not see a chat function. Is it, are we able to populate the Google Doc with that? And then,
Oh, okay, I can do that, yeah. Let me
or
do that.
screen share? I don't know if you would like to screen share.
I think if it's okay, I can go ahead and put it in the Google Doc, and then we can read it really quick, and then we can just delete it. I think that's probably gonna be the simpler. Okay. So there you go. That's part of the vision, one of the visions.
Can you share your screen? Are you able to do that?
I don't think I can unless someone gives me I think I maybe can.
It'd probably be easier because I don't know if anybody here has access to the document right now.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. All right. I guess you guys can see my screen. Where is it? All right, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yes.
So here it says add Audacity right there. Is it easier without the blue or with it?
Can you go ahead and just read it, or?
Yeah, okay, so it says add Audacity, no one is turned away for the lack of ability to pay a program fee. No student is ever turned away for lack of training or experience. Equitable access to the arts education opens the gates to all community students who believe they can manifest anything they dream of and aspire to be. To help students achieve their ambitions, Audacity sees each student as an individual. Audacity accounts for their individual cultures, experiences, challenges, and gifts. Through this practice, Audacity creates a seat for students at the decision-making table of their own creative lives. And the actual, see, this is how long it is. Like, for instance, here, by partnering with like-minded organizations, the communities we serve benefit additionally by having equitable access to a larger pool of arts education and resources, access to a reliable network of arts organizations that share a mission for keeping teaching artists employed and paid a living wage in Silicon Valley. And it's a pretty long one. And then, of course, what our dreams, right? Audacity will continue, like the promise that we're making, right, to the community. Audacity will continue to serve Silicon Valley Title I schools and are in a period of recovery along with the community we serve. Audacity is committed to serving 2,000 students and reinstating 50 to 75 youth productions per year as COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. Audacity will expand our portfolio by introducing programs that explore the intersection of art and technology, such as film and video production, music production. So it's basically kind of laying out like sort of what our future plans are and what our goals are, if you will. And then from there, we extracted the mission because it's, far more fleshed out here. And then the mission is, shorter than that. You see the mission right here. So the Audacity Performing Arts Project engages Silicon Valley Title I schools in all aspects of inclusion-based theater productions and artistic programming in collaborative partnerships with school districts, teaching artists and students. Audacity explores the performing arts at the intersection of technology. Through accessible quality arts education and experiences, students devise their own path to personal empowerment, self-discovery, and higher education.
Thank you. So maybe we should start polling some, like, what is it we want? I mean, a lot of times when I work with the students on their awareness campaigns, what are your goals? What are your actions? And then you come to that mission statement or vision statement or purpose that just encapsulates all of it. So what are we wanting from this?
I think that might be under new business for goals of the commission.
I would suggest that there is, under new business goals of the commission, Chair Chiaro, if you're okay with it, we can discuss that all together.
You mean right now?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm open to discussing it right now since it's relevant to this topic. And I agree with Commissioner Ross. I think what stands out to me about Commissioner Sanchez's mission statement and what Commissioner Ross both said is like the verbs that we're using, just as in like the city of Gilroy, the verbs they're using, recognize, implement, promote. What are the verbs that we want to use that are, those actions that we're taking?
Mhm.
Well, one goal that I have is just to, bring our community together by celebrating each other and then using our arts, visual performing,
Right.
to kind of do that. And sorry, I'm just trying to get us rolling on it.
No, yeah, definitely. No, I agree. I do like the verbiage. I like words like connect, promote, empower, enrich. I think our little quaint town could definitely be enriched in a lot of culture and arts around here. I just, I guess the way that I see things is that you bring communities together by having fun things that bring people together. And a lot of the time, it's really based around arts and culture. Theater, literature, painting, sculpture, poetry, music, dance, architecture, storytelling, spirituality, rituals, all these things. If you don't have it, we don't know. We can't really learn from each other, and so I guess that's what I'm thinking of for this thing. I don't know if anybody wants to piggyback off that, but that's kind of what I see.
I agree, Vice Chair, and I think I also agree with Commissioner Ross. The idea of utilizing the arts as a catalyst for community engagement and community change. And then maybe under some of those other fields of goals or actions, you can kind of broaden that scope a bit.
I have a question. What do we mean by community change?
I said engagement, but community change, we could discuss that too. I was thinking engagement piece, just like bringing people together, but do you want to talk about that?
No, I thought Commissioner Ross said community change. Did I mishear that then?
I'm not sure.
I just want to know how we define it. In other words, so we flesh it out in the vision, I guess. Because at least, are we starting with the mission or the vision statement?
I think we're doing goals.
I think we're kind of starting with goals. So it's like, okay, what are our goals? What would we like? And then how are we going to do it? So what are the actions for it? And then from there, we tighten it up into our mission statement and our vision. It's like, I think we need to know our overall, what do we want?
Right.
And then we just have kind of this one sentence, maybe two sentences, little mission statement that, captures it all that's up top. Community change, I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I said that. I don't know what I would have meant by that.
So maybe right now goals is when we're looking at goals is just around brainstorming, like what would you want to see? What have you seen in the community?
Right.
What purpose does the arts serve? How are they going to be impactful?
That's what I was thinking. And I was kind of, as Commissioner Rojas, you were saying, or Vice Chair Rojas, you were talking about all of these different types of arts, and I've started thinking, so we have visual, applied, and performing arts, and I'm wondering, we have like tattoo artists and hairstylists, and
Right.
those are all applied arts, and I think it's
Definitely.
a great thing to really even showcase those and let our students, our youth, understand that you can take art and create a career out of it. So
Right.
even engaging them and celebrating, I think that even gets those businesses involved and invested.
Yeah, I agree. I think what our town maybe lacks in certain artistic flair, we certainly do have a lot of people whose work, which I don't think they really think about, is in the arts of some sort. So, yeah, I definitely agree.
I think also a big piece which if this is just the brainstorming pieces, just like Roland Resendez said in public comment, is really advocating for investment. So definitely think that is a big part of the role in doing it, because if you have no sustainability, you can celebrate, you can bring together, you can recognize, and nothing is going to happen. So kind of embedding infrastructure too to support community engagement in the arts. And I don't know where that kind of falls in the scheme of mission, vision, goals, and actions, but I definitely think that's a big component.
I'd like to second that in that absolutely mission and vision unfortunately we can't execute it, unfortunately, in many cases because we don't have the funds to do so. And there again, back to Vice Mayor Resendez, is that to be able to identify a grant writer, but also I understand perhaps that we can ask maybe City Council to help us sort of seed that. Is there a process for that we know that maybe we can ask them to help us seed the actual funding of finding, a grant writer or someone who can help us? And I think in the text, absolutely, I think that's a big part of what we're going to be doing, is ensuring that in order that this commission continue to be here, we need to be able to fund it. So yeah, I'm in very much agreement with that.
Commissioner Sanchez, to answer your question, yes, that's something that I would work on a report to council. And during that report or presentation, I would just ask probably Chair Chiaro or Vice Chair Rojas to kind of present the ideas of the commission.
Yeah, once we gather a solid, I could present to. I also agree. I third that motion about, I think sometimes if we were strategic enough with what we present to the public, it could make the town money. It could make local artists money. I know, just for an example, in the city of San Jose, sometimes they have art events that bring in lots of money to the vendors, bring in money to the city. I know we don't have that kind of budget or funds, but little by little, right? If we put something that's really neat and really cool and like a sculpture or something from a local artist downtown, maybe it'll bring more foot traffic to downtown. Therefore, then having a lot of the businesses downtown probably have a lot more foot traffic. And I mean, that's just what I see. I'm no economist, but I'm thinking that would be probably a way to go.
I agree, and I think that the more you do, it is a snowball effect, and I definitely have seen this in my work as just, one piece of art goes up and another piece of art goes up, and I really like what Commissioner Ross said about really bringing in applied arts, and that was a question I had about the bylaws, which that could be just in the bylaws because it says fine arts, and I asked if we should clarify that or expand on that, but potentially in the bylaws it could be stated in that fashion, and then later in the goals and actions you could really think about how you're building out the idea of what the arts are and can become, and really making sure that it's bringing up all of the community and not just certain sectors or what one person thinks is art, or what is a valuable art form or something like this. But I think one art form will beget another, and it will kind of just continue to build and bring a lot of positive energy and engagement.
I'm also hoping that once we really start getting out there and having the public really know about this commission, and when we finally do have that mission statement and we finally do have that vision, there will be a lot more community involvement. And, it could be as far as people who have careers in art, local artists, people who make things, people who, you know, you're right. Art is infinite. It can be really anything if you really spin it. Yeah, thank you.
And I believe that Commissioner Sanchez, what she brought up for our review around what stood out to me with the mission that you had written here was partnerships, and how partnerships can develop sustainability and provide new opportunities, especially when you're looking at technology, even like Commissioner Ross was saying, applied arts. Like, how do we utilize those partnerships for sustainability and elevate the community through all of these new partnerships and individuals and community members that are going to be our community is growing. How can we bring them into the fold in that way?
Okay, so I'm just kind of thinking as everybody's talking, I'm taking little notes. So it sounds like we want to reshape the definition and the understanding of art. Sounds to me like that might be one. We want to bring more culture or celebrate the culture that exists, whether it just be Hollister itself or the individual cultures that exist within. We want to elevate, create, build community. We want to generate revenue and kind of make it sort of a tourist destination.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, very good. Yes, you were taking notes. All right.
So those are kind of what I've been taking note of, what y'all have been saying. Did I miss anything? Because we can kind of then start to really build on that. Like, how would we do these things? For instance, you know, I teach at the high school, so that's where my brain goes a lot. And I do want to see that we really invest in our youth and we show that, hey,
definitely.
There's opportunity right here. These are things in like really connecting. So for instance, the tattoo artist or the hairstylist or the culinary, or we have Corbin Leather and things like that. And so do we create events that are within the schools as well? You know, so now I'm starting to kind of get into actions. Sorry, but.
No, that's great. I think, generate revenue. I think, everything was really good. I don't know if any other commissioners have any other goals that they want to see with this commission. I do, I think that is something that we kind of didn't really talk about, but the youth in town. I know a lot of the commissioners here work with children. You know, they're the future, so invest in them definitely. I personally don't work with a lot of children, so I don't think I'd be the best person to make a goal about children and the youth. But please, if anyone has ideas or how we could word that.
A lot of the work that I've done historically in the arts and basically here in Hollister now has been basically social justice through the arts. That's my just personal mission in this work, and that's how I have always worked, and I think that's what inspires me. I know that's what inspires me the most, simply because I myself am a product of being a person who was like bused to a different neighborhood because we didn't have the resources. Therefore, the new school district where I was bused to, I actually had access to so many arts that it just completely changed my life. And so I believe that that is a very, very important way that we empower, not even really just our students, although I do work with kids mainly now, but it empowers in communities in general, right? To be able to partake in community art projects and community art, or just events, cultural events, etc., arts and cultural events. Right. So this will always be the message you'll get from me. I'm the annoying activist. So that's where my mind, my passion always goes, is to be able to uplift communities by empowering them and letting them know what opportunities are out there for them. And yes, there's definitely, the ability to make a living in the arts, which you're constantly being told as a kid, like, this is just kind of a fun thing. Don't actually think you can do this for a living. Mm-hmm. But, post-COVID, it feels that way. Post-AB5, it feels that way. But currently, I really feel that if we continue to sort of fight this fight, we will absolutely come out bigger and stronger, especially with this commission being created. I think that's definitely a positive in the right direction. And it's all towards, access and equity and everything that social justice stands for, especially for a town like Hollister that's going through so many changes in addition to everything else that's upon it right now.
I think that's great, Commissioner Sanchez. I'm glad that you brought it up because I was thinking along the same lines with the social justice. So it connects like self-expression, but also, creating a safe space because we're not a very diverse town, and so we would like for people who do visit that might be of a different anything to feel safe here. So,
So do we want to say that the commission would also help bring diversity into town, which then would, social justice, and then the long-term effects of being exposed to the arts, like we were saying, if you don't have access to it, how do you know about it, and how do you enrich your life without it? So there might be people in our very own town here that don't have any access to arts or who don't know the broad range of the arts and culture out here. So I agree.
I agree also, and I believe that should be a part of the documents that we provide, and that it should use that language. It should specifically use social justice, equity, and accessibility. And I also agree with Commissioner Ross. It makes me think of how we can utilize language in the document that clarifies the idea that we want to embed the arts in every sector, that we really want it to be everywhere for all people, not and how do we do that, and how do we manifest that, and what does it look like for different people, different for youth, for our older community, and then how do we kind of direct the arts to all of those people that need it in maybe different ways or different avenues? How do we reach all those people?
It kind of sounds like we're all on the same page, which is good. I like that.
maybe Chair Chiato, it could be something like we have artists here that give demonstrations, but we're also starting to bring artists that are from the Bay Area or, even internationally or whatever. Maybe it could build to something like that so that we can get other perspectives of experiences.
I also think it's a big deal that, I went to a festival in Watsonville last weekend, and you have so many small business owners that can't afford storefronts, that have to pay large fees to get a booth at these festivals. So I think, I don't know if this is totally off topic or not, but I would like to see that applied somewhere. More opportunity for the small business owners and local artists.
Would that come into our sustainability or sustainable income or revenue?
I think it might go hand in hand with that.
Mm-hmm.
I was also thinking that could go within the bylaws under, what is fine arts, like what it is and what that looks like, when it says dance, theater, sculpture, that it could have said there, or if there was another clarifying document that it would have said, events, festivals, things that have come up already in a couple of meetings, like how would we, what are those fine arts elements look like in action, especially when you're thinking about like economic sustainability.
I'd like to, can I share my screen again? I'd actually like to show, now that we're talking about this economic sustainability, there is a study that was done about the effect on arts, or the effect of arts and culture on economies. And this came out pretty much after COVID, just because we had such major losses. But this one in particular really speaks to, I think, what we're talking about now. And Chair Chiato, am I saying that right, Chiato? Okay.
Seattle, yes, thank you.
So can you all see that? So it shows,
Great.
can you see it okay?
Yes.
So it talks about, for instance, what a local versus a non-local arts audience spending when we have art and cultural events. So it says, you know, the average per person per event audience expenditures shows 3147. And it sort of breaks down, like when someone comes in out of town, they spend an average of 47.57, as opposed to a local audience is $23. So, and it breaks down, you know, from childcare to overnight lodging, basically all the money that it brings to the area. And it tells you in which ways, right? Clothing, accessory, ground transportation, etc., souvenirs, meals, snacks, and refreshments. This study is really super interesting. It was taken by, I don't know how many organizations and even just cultural affairs office, arts and cultural affairs offices, and local governments across the nation. So if anybody is interested in also taking a look at this, it's kind of long, but it's really interesting. It has a lot of very good information. But that's what you were just talking about, Amanda, is just, you know, how the economic viability and how we can continue to sustain it in addition to looking for grants.
Yeah, you could share that with us, like send the link to us. I would love that.
Yeah, that's really good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Maybe this could be up for, if the city council hasn't already seen this, this would be a really great element to have like previewed before a presentation, when you're asking for, you know, the tax, the impact fees.
Yep, exactly. Okay.
Is it also possible, when we're talking about impact fees, is it also possible to do another, just a little tax or something, you know, like a sales tax sort of thing? Like San Francisco, you pay the healthcare tax, you know, for the employees, so it's always on your bill. Is that something that we could also start doing here? That would be, you know, a tax that goes into the Arts Commission. I don't know.
Commissioner Ross, to answer your question, yes, that's something that we would kind of research and look into as a commission. I tried. I was looking through some things. Back east, they do a hospitality tax, but after my research, I realized it was similar to our TOT. So it's kind of the same thing, transit taxes. So it was very, very similar, and I think it just back east, it is called hospitality, and we call it our TOTs in California. So, but just doing research, I think that Vice Mayor Resendez, he mentioned any new commercial businesses, kind of taxing them or putting arts in their building, and if they choose not to, then we do that in lieu fee, and that goes into the AC. I call our Arts, Culture, and Commission ACC, in case you guys, that would go into the ACC fund, and that's where we could possibly do festival, you know, bring some revenue or entertainment to the downtown or to Hollister.
Yeah, I think the impact fee is great, but are we always going to have people building, or is, you know, I worry that revenue may end up stopping at some point.
We can look into other types of impact fees also. It's the research that we would do. I know when we first started with the ACC forming it, I was trying to get ahead a little bit and just to see some research, and that's what I found. And then we reached out to a firm through our planning department, our development services department, and I think they're going to do some research. So I'll bring that information hopefully within the next week, I can send an email out to everyone and let them know what we're doing.
Tina, I have a question.
Yes,
For the TOT tax, that's the tourism tax, right?
yes.
Tell me, can you remind me the acronym, what that stands for again?
Transient Occupancy Tax, I think. We can Google, huh? Yeah, Paul's telling me yes.
And does a portion of that also go to the Chamber of Commerce?
I think it does, but let me confirm with our city manager. I think a portion does go to the chamber or even to HDA to kind of, the Hollister Downtown Association, sorry, to pay some of their fees. But I will confirm and provide that at our next meeting.
Yeah, I was just curious because as the term, as the word, tourist destination comes up, in correlation with the arts, it seems to me that would be almost like another source of a portion of a percentage of revenue for the commission to utilize in some way if we're amplifying tourism through the arts. I don't know if there's a connection there, but
I think, not this last supervisors meeting, but I think the one before it, they were talking about how they're trying to build tourism in Hollister too, and I feel like that could be doable for sure. If they get successful on that, then we could definitely get funds somehow. I mean, we'd be planning a lot of events through the ACC, and maybe the number one reason why people come into town. So, I definitely think we would deserve that to continue the funding for this.
thank you, Vice Chair Rojas. Tina, do we want to move on? How would you like to proceed?
If Commissioner Ross doesn't mind sharing some of that information or even putting it on our Google Doc, some of the ideas that you have, I think that's a start. Just for clarification, I wrote down a few things, but Commissioner Ross came up with some great ideas, and Vice Chair Rojas also, if you guys can add some of those things into our Google Doc along with Commissioner Sanchez.
Sure.
And with that being said, we could, I think that we discussed our mission and vision statement, kind of went over our ACC bylaws, and we kind of jumped over into goals of the mission. So what I have under old business is designing a City of Hollister flag, and then under new business, upcoming art and culture events, and a social media page under new business.
Okay, so should we go on to designing a City of Hollister flag?
Yes.
Does anybody want to start with any thoughts around that?
I think we were talking about a call for artists for it, right? So should we talk
Yes.
about how to call for it, or?
I mean, I'm assuming if we do have a call for artists, there would be parameters or something that we'd want. I mean, I'm sure people can make beautiful flags, but, make it, I guess, just as simple. So it's a flag that represents the whole town. I don't know if anyone else has any other, I don't want to call them standards because there's really, but something simple, something nice that we could ask the public for different options from local artists for sure. Yeah, guidelines. Yes, guidelines. Thank you.
Are we talking about potentially a survey or something that would go out to, like, who, in terms of ideas of, for instance, I've heard a lot of, whenever working on projects is, being able to show, say, the agricultural history of Hollister, to really acknowledge, that part of it and its impact on the town, and maybe something that shows, growth, prosperity. So yeah.
I mean,
something
we
like
do have we have a couple of seals, right? We have the town seal and we have San Benito County seal. I don't know if they would want to create another with not too sure if we want to use what's already existing, slap it on a flag, or if or if we really want to really get into it, like Commissioner Sanchez was saying, is different representations of what the town is about.
Well, we could, I think we talked maybe about it being a rotating flag every X amount of time, or if we want it to be one. But I was thinking we could put out like a prompt, basically. So what is Hollister to you? Commissioner Sanchez, you talked about history, growth, prosperity. We could have some little keywords that sort of inspire them. I mean, yeah, I guess we could decide if we want like the seal to be on it or
Right.
not. So maybe we could come out with a question, something that is just going to prompt them to inspire them and have them, we should have a date, a deadline for them to submit it by. We should probably get it out on this new social media page that we're going to be talking about. Getting it into the schools, getting it maybe even like posters that are out in local businesses, and people can start to, I'm really into the QR codes, or it could take you to like whatever the rules are, the guidelines are that we have for it, and how they can submit their work.
Is anyone concerned about? Because I do think it would be great to have it by a local artist, someone who is Hollister, right? Who knows a lot about it. But also, is anyone concerned about potential negative opinions from other people in town? Like, oh, I don't think that flag represents what Hollister is, or I'm just asking.
I think that's why surveys are probably a good idea, that even though it takes longer, at least you get, more people's opinions.
Right.
Because I've noticed there's different opinions about, everybody agrees on the agricultural, at least from my experience. But yeah, like for instance, Commissioner Ross was saying, you have the tattoo artists, you have all of this other artistic expression. And as much as I've heard a lot of people say there's not a lot to eat in Hollister, I'm finding that I can eat a lot here. And that there's a lot of stuff that I love, so, things like that. Someone might say that there's this, just the food here, there's so many different perspectives that I think it would be absolutely important to make sure we, get, as many people's opinions as we can. Maybe there's
Right.
something to do in every district, or I don't know, something like that, to where we can get kind of the full breadth of what people believe Hollister represents artistically.
So do you think we should send out a survey, and then from there we create our call for artists, and then have the artists submit their ideas?
I think maybe that's how we get guidelines, right? Maybe the survey will then give us what the people want to see, because some, like you said, some people, to Hollister is the motorcycle rally. To some people, it's the wineries here. To some people, it's, it's different things. And so maybe a survey of what does Hollister mean to you? We get all the feedback, we create guidelines, then we have a call for an artist. Saying, hey, this is what we want to see on here. Create something, that is your vision, but something that can represent the city of Hollister.
Would you want it to be open to individual artists as well as like a collaboration of artists? Or would it be, okay, and then we're gonna select, like Commissioner Sanchez is mentioning, what if we had an artist from each district that then they had created something together? That might be kind of hard to get one from each district, but
Right.
Have you seen, in fact, I think I saw this actually at an artist studio. It's called Credo in San Juan Bautista. They, she particularly likes the, I don't know what she called them, but it was like this circle and it had like four different, like say images inside that circle. And it was a collaborative piece that was created by four different artists. And each one of them was really interesting and
Is it the one that has like the mission, and then there's like fruit on the bottom, and then there's
well, you could really do anything with it.
uh-huh,
That was what intrigued me because there was all sorts of different ones.
uh-huh.
But she said each one of them was a collaborative piece between several different artists, and each one kind of gave their, you know, their take on what the subject matter was. And I thought that was kind of interesting as an image where you could potentially bring, you know, different artists from different districts together that can have, you know, even though they're separate visions, they fit in this sort of circle that has sort of the separation by like a little sort of, it's almost like you're looking at four different, but it's all one circle.
And I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like divided like a pie,
Yes,
kind of.
exactly.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I mean, that could be possible if that's what someone wants to create, or a group of people would want to create, for sure. I don't know how exactly. I guess maybe if a group wanted to enter as one entity. Um, Not sure.
I like the idea of like maybe potentially disparate groups or like designs coming together as one as a symbol of unity. I think one of the things I'm thinking or questions I have is like eligibility guidelines, you know, of course you have to be a resident. Like, are we going to take artwork from students K to 12 to adult? I don't know if you want that range. Um, is digital work accepted? And also just, I think I would recommend like some boundaries around like, I don't know. I think when it comes to like a big piece of artwork, like a mural or a flag or something, if you do a lot of detail work, it can get lost. And so
Mm-hmm.
how you can kind of concentrate on like symbols and um, like bold, artful design to represent like what like, and maybe we should put out this call after we solidify our mission and vision too, that kind of goes alongside that call after the survey, which I really like because I think you'll get that bubbling up to the top of probably 10 concepts or something.
Right. I don't think we want to make the flag design too complicated. As much as creative as people can be, you're right. I don't want it to get lost. Most city flags that I see are just certain colors. They'll have something in the middle, shapes, things. Um, but I also don't want to. Gosh, what is the word I'm looking for? I don't want to dull anyone's creativity either. So.
Also, how is the flag being made? Could we also see if there's a textile artist that would be interested in actually creating it, like collaborating with an artist on it? I don't know.
Would this flag be like not only flown, like I'm sure at City Hall, but would it also be like everywhere? Like, is it going to be? Yeah, right. Like, is it going to be a representation? So it's going to be on mail. It's going to be on online. Like, how far do we want? You know, is it just a little folky city flag that we're going to have that only we know about, or is this going to be like something that people can Google and see that this is our town flag? I'm not sure.
And at some of our parks, there are flagpoles. At Dunn, I think we have, or not at Dunn, I'm sorry. At Vista Park Hill, I think we have 2 flagpoles, so we could, you know, that's the highest peak park that the city owns. So we can fly them there. We do have our pole here in front of City Hall. There are different areas. It would be, you know, a recommendation to City Council, where the commission would like to fly the flag or where they would like to put the symbol of the flag, and then the council would decide.
I'm also curious about the potential for like public voting. Maybe you could have, if you did have that survey going out preliminarily,
maybe you also have a public voting on the pieces that are chosen, and then the public can participate in the final choice. I don't know if that's possible or relevant, or if the commission needs to do that because of our charge.
If that's possible, I think it's a great idea. You know, then they're all a part. Everyone's a part of it. Everyone who votes at least is part of it.
Yeah, we could share it on the ACC social media page, and of course with Hollister Recreation too, and get it out to the public.
Would we
I
have-
am also curious about the idea of the rotating, like, is it a rotating competition, or does it stay, especially like Vice Chair Rojas mentioned, like, is it gonna, depending on how you're gonna utilize it, what's the best way to do it? Like, if you're gonna have it on mailings and a lot of printed material, you're not gonna wanna have maybe a competition every year. I don't know.
Yeah, is it something that's going to be rotated, or is it going to have an expiration date one day for the idea of creating another? I guess I would have to do my own research on a lot of city flags. I would like to see something a little bit more permanent for a while, so that it's, you know, like a symbol, right? Like, but I know that city flags change all the time. Maybe not frequently, but I know that they do change as generations, you know. But I guess that's a decision that we all have to come up with.
Yeah, I like the idea of it staying the same for a while, at least.
Or at least through our, through however long we're commissioners until
Right.
the next.
Right.
That's a great idea. Then each new commission has an opportunity to like reconceive of it. Tina, would you recommend the next steps for the designing of the flag, maybe to have like a Google Doc that has kind of like the steps and like the different elements, like first step, you know, survey and questions, and then something like elements of the call for artists, like guidelines, requirements, things like that?
Yes, that's definitely something we can work on, or I can work on and get it out to the commission.
Okay. Is there any more comments about the design of the flag? No? Okay. We'll go on to new business too, Tina, is that correct? Upcoming art and culture events?
Yes, I just wanted to let the commission know, I think we talked about it in June, some events that the city was, Recreation was working on, to do with our Concert in the Park series. It's going on, the request to have the event is going on the council's agenda for August 16th. But what the plan is in the month of September on Thursdays, we would like to offer concerts in the park. Let me see, it goes September 9th, the 23rd, and the 30th. And each of those Thursdays will be at McCarthy Street Park, with the band starting at 6 o'clock, and we are booked. We have 3 bands that will play. And then September 16th, we are working with a group to offer a band for Mexican Independence Day, and that will be at the courtyard. So we'd like to kind of celebrate and create some but have decorations and just make it very festive. If anyone participated in our event this past Saturday, we did like a mini golf, but we also had a band in the courtyard, and it worked out really well. It was a family fun event. They were downtown, and it opened some businesses up, and it brought community, and I think that that's our goals. And with that being said, a lot of our council members had the discussion of bringing more types of festivals, which included the arts and culture festivals, our arts and wine festival, different types of events in our downtown area. And with that being said, they're looking to our commission to kind of bring those types of events downtown. So if there are any ideas, you can let me know and I can write them down and then I'll research.
I would like to see, like I said earlier, artists and small business pop-ups. You know, a chance for people to sell their little creations, their paintings, services maybe that they do. I also think that Hollister should definitely celebrate more ethnic holidays. You know, you'd be surprised how many different types of people live in town that would be willing to participate. Yes, they might be small at first, but you know, they also have celebrations of different ethnicity. So, like Greek and Italian festivals, they have Japanese festivals. We could have different types of, I know, oh, where did I see it? I think the Chamber is having like a Polynesian Hawaiian thing coming up with dancing and food. And I mean, that should be available. That should be a festival downtown that everybody could celebrate, you know? Dancing, especially, like I just said, dancing is a big thing. There's many types of dancing. I think Commissioner Sanchez knows much more about that than I do, but
Yes.
any kind of things that, like I said, I think the purpose for me in this commission is to have it really be a touristy place, have fun things to do, but have it be cultural, have it be a little mix of something that maybe someone's never tried before. Maybe, you know, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think those are great ideas. We could include food with it also, and Indigenous Peoples Day is in October. I'm trying to get the schools to celebrate that as well.
Yeah.
And then, are you also looking for ideas for these specific events you just told us about in September?
Yes,
Yeah?
that would
Okay.
be wonderful.
Okay.
Um,
Because I know, like, for Mexican Independence Day, there's, like, folklorico, but Commissioner Sanchez, you probably know more about the dancers, because we have dancers a lot at our Dia de los Muertos celebrations at the school.
Yeah, that would be wonderful to celebrate too.
What's that?
That would be wonderful to celebrate
Oh,
too.
yeah, that would be really awesome.
Dia de los Muertos.
So having I guess the question is, what do we have already lined up for Mexican Independence Day?
There is a group that we're talking with, and I can provide more information. I think that the group that's the folklorial dancers and a small, maybe a 4-person band, and it's still, I think there's still the negotiating part of it, but the group has mentioned they like to perform, but we're just trying to figure out the logistics of it at this point. I have a staff meeting tomorrow, so I'll get more details.
I don't know if Commissioner Ross has any insight on, as we begin school, on some student clubs or student performers that could potentially be a part of some of these upcoming celebrations too. I think that would be really cool. Also, I know in September 18th and 19th is the Open Studios Art Tour that the Arts Council facilitates. I was also thinking about, I think it was like 2 years ago, the Watsonville Film Festival was going to have, I think, a couple of showings in Hollister, and it looks like they're scheduled to have their event in March of 2022. It'd be really exciting to see if we could build that out. Are they planning to have viewings here of certain films, and could we piggyback on that and expand that a little bit by bringing in other performers or filmmakers, or I'm just thinking about how we can strategize with other things that are going on close to us to connect us and build partnerships and utilize those opportunities that are kind of already in the works.
I quickly wrote down some of these dates. Chair Chiato, if you have those dates or that information, do you mind emailing them to me? And then I can follow up
Absolutely.
and give a report the next meeting.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Shall we move on to new business 3?
Yes.
Okay.
So social media page, we could create another, like another group, I guess, with the Hollister Recreation. We kind of have it with our Junior Giants program and our Police Activities League program. So it would just be another group connected to Hollister Recreation, and then put information on there. I have staff working on that right now. We did create I know the commission asked for more presentation from our public, so we put together a flyer, but I made some changes and then it didn't get put in Spanish or translated into Spanish, which is one of our policies right now. So I didn't post it, but I think for our September meeting, it's ready, and we'll get it out there. But first I'll share it with our commission just to make sure you guys are fine with the information that's on there. And then hopefully we'll get some representation, people from the public or people calling in and kind of listening to what the ideas are of the commission. At this time, we're not allowed to share our page with any of our commissioners, so it would be staff that would oversee the social media page. But you guys can always provide us with input if something's not correct, you don't like and it's easy to remove, correct. Before we post anything, I'll always send it out to our commission.
And then I was actually just thinking in regards to what we were talking about earlier, and it connects with this, is I can post anything to my students as well. So any information that you'd like to pass on, even about the Mexican Independence Day, like Commissioner or Chair Chiato was mentioning, I can always do something like that. I do kind of a call for artists for the students, and I can share it at the school if that's all right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, that's great, to continue and share that information.
Tina, I have a question for the social media page. If we come across something, or we feel like there's something that's shareable and relevant to the page, but since we don't have access, is that something we can share with you that you would assess whether it was relevant or pertinent to the page?
We could discuss that. There is, just like our Junior Giants and our PAL page, it's a shareable component on there. And are you talking about something different than what we post on, than what we would post on the ACC page?
I guess I'm thinking, like, what if there's an event or something like this that we come across and we don't have our meeting for, 3 weeks or something like that, but we think it could be relevant to the page, but we don't personally have access to it, right?
Yeah.
Am I understanding that correctly, that the commissioners don't have access to share on that page?
I think in Facebook, if there's a share component, you could share it. But if it's something that you would like me to post, I would just ask that you send it to me, and then we can post it on the page.
Okay, thank you. Is there any more comments on the social media page? No, okay. And then now moving into commissioner comments. Does anybody have any additional comments?
I have,
Oh, yeah,
oh.
go ahead, please. No, please.
Okay, thanks. I just had a question. Are we, and this is really just how we work together, and when we talked about partnerships and how we partner with others to sort of amplify our resources and make our position basically more, so we have more abilities, if you will, to create more projects and so forth and have more impact. Are we working together with like Hollister Recreation? Are we in partnership? Are we sort of feeding information to each other? And how does this work? Because I think is there another commission or another group that does the events basically? Like who puts on the wine and art stroll? Like
Right.
what does all that get? Is that still a Hollister Rec thing that gets planned there? How does that all tie together in with our commission?
In regards to Hollister Recreation, the ACC is a part of Recreation. The commission is out of the Recreation Department, just like the Parks and Recreation Commission. The wine, beer stroll, some other festivals that you're seeing downtown, that is the Hollister Downtown Association. And the city does partner with the Downtown Association, but HDA is the lead on it. And the city kind of is behind the scenes, road closures, for instance, recreation, we just volunteer, or we don't volunteer, but we kind of go out and help them with distribution of, we helped them with the Lights on Parade, so we helped them out with distribution of the bags, volunteer check-in, we just kind of support them in that way. But we don't really get involved in their planning. It's just behind the scenes support. And as far as Hollister Recreation, that's a part of the city, and the ACC is a part of the city also. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, so if we, then on occasion or in some way, shape or form, anything that we might plan at the commission level could potentially also be in partnership with Hollister Downtown Association, or say the Chamber of Commerce, or are we ever connected in that way? Or are we
Yes.
basically, if we plan something, it's mostly going to be through Hollister Rec?
So if we plan something, recreation would be the lead on it. If you do become like an HDA member or a Chamber of Commerce member, then you would get the support from them if you wanted to do something like for your business. That would be something different. But if the commission plans an event, then Hollister Recreation, the city, I should say, would be the lead. And then we would partner, maybe, we'd reach out to HDA and reach out to the chamber. We also reach out to the Arts Council and some of our other businesses, like Conta, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. We kind of reach out and partner with them, but if it's coming from the ACC, it's through the city of Hollister.
Got it, thank you.
So we're pretty much, the commissioners are like, the commissions are ideas, and then recreation is the one that executes all the ideas.
But it's always the support of the commission. If you guys are in favor of us
Right.
doing certain things, we pass it through the commission first. The commission votes on it, and then we move forward with the ideas.
Could one also be a member of the Downtown Association and being a commissioner on one of these commissions?
Absolutely. I think it's encouraged
Okay.
just because you see the support, you see what they're doing, you're saying,
Right.
well, I sit on ACC and this is our ideas, maybe we can partner. So there's more collaboration.
Right.
And then you come back with those ideas
Right.
to us, or to staff, I should say.
And so if we were to raise any money for this commission, would it, I guess in other words, go back into the recreation pot? so that they can help us create these visions that we have for the city?
Recreation pot or impact fees. So it's, if those impact fees, it would be strictly for art and culture in our community.
Okay.
If it goes back into recreation, that's kind of the general fund,
Okay.
and it goes to everything, recreate youth sports, you know.
All right.
So if we want to focus on arts and culture in our community, and that's the vision that we have, then we would create an impact fee.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, because at first the wording was kind of like, oh, so it's we're all just like umbrella, little of the recreation. So I was like thinking, if we did have funds, I hope it doesn't go back into a large pot where they're just like, oh, okay, more money for other things. And I would like it to only stay for the arts and culture, for sure.
There you go. That's probably, something we kind of want to put in the bylaws, or just make it known that that's the goal of the commission.
Well, it would go to a restricted fund for the commission, is that right? I mean, it would be managed that way?
Yes.
Okay.
And Tina, do we, or can we, or should we be actively inviting, the HDA or the chamber to the meetings? Or I think we talked about at the last meeting, like having some presentations, if I'm not mistaken. I could be confused with my other meeting, but just thinking about, I'd love to hear like what they have going on, or what's on their radar, and how we could partner if we don't have the specific accessibility through commissioners also being on the board of one of those other organizations.
Yes, I did have a chance to talk with Jen with the Arts Council, and I mentioned a presentation in September and for our September meeting, because I wanted our arts and culture, our ACC, to work on the draft of the bylaws, the mission. I wanted you guys kind of get the idea and have that done before a presentation. So she was looking at September, if that's the will of the commission, or I can have her come in October.
So do we have a lot more work to do on the bylaws because of the way we wanted to organize it against the mission and vision? Or is it something that, like, if the bylaws as they stand on their own, we could vote on it to adopt that portion?
I think with the ideas that you guys had today, it's going to go into that Google Doc, and then we'll work together these next few weeks to finalize it for our next meeting in September. I think that meeting is scheduled for September 14th. And then we can approve it, and then from the commission, it goes to the council, and then the council adopts it.
So we probably want to get that finished before next meeting. Okay, good. That's doable.
Thank you.
So if the will of the commission is to have the Arts Council at the presentation at our next meeting?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Are there any other commissioner comments at this time?
How far does our reach go? Like, I guess, in other words, do a lot of other organizations know about our Arts and Culture Commission?
No, not a lot. I know the Arts Council was in favor of the city creating this commission. HDA also. I don't know what the feedback is from the chamber, but I can kind of reach out and get some input. Other community members, I did announce it at the San Benito County Realtors Association that we have this commission and that we're working on some events. So the commission is pretty excited. And then our Parks and Recreation Commission would, once the commission established, would like to work together to create some art in the park. So we're getting the word out, and I think with our social media page, we'll keep pushing it.
Sure. And then also the Arts Council, is that, who is in the Arts Council? Is it everyday people? Is it government officials? Is it a mixture of both? I guess, in other words, to my question that I had about being on the HDA, can one also be on the Arts Council and also the ACC?
Amanda,
That's what I thought, yes.
Chair Chiano, if you don't mind, just kind of, could you answer his questions on?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
So we have an executive director. I'm the director of arts education. We have an operations manager, an events coordinator, and then we have a 10-person board. And then we have 8 teaching artists that are employed as well. So potentially you could be a board member,
Okay,
and then, you know, on the commission as well.
okay,
You would just need to be appointed by the board.
right. All right, because yeah, I as I guess newer local, I do pass that building often, and I wasn't really sure what the connection between the Arts Council and what we do here would be. But thank you for answering my question.
You're welcome.
My comment just to our commissioners is there anything else that you would like to see on the September 14th agenda?
What do we have on the agenda so far?
So if we go back to our old business, we would continue and discuss, well, it could change if we have our mission and our vision statement in our bylaws. It could change to voting on passing the bylaws. Our old business would include designing the city Hollister flag, and probably underneath that would be some sort of a survey that we're working on. And under new business, it would be up to the commission what else we'd like to work on.
Could we continue discussing upcoming art and culture events? I think that's probably going to be an always thing. I'm assuming.
Okay, I can leave that under old business. Under new business, I take that back. Under new business, we would discuss, or we would review the presentation from the Art Council. That would be under new business.
What about the seed money from the council?
Right.
Yes,
Or-
thank you.
Yeah, a grant writer or,
So we would impact fees. That would include the grant writer and seed money. Thank you.
And Tina, I added this to the Google Doc as I just saw, like, put some comments in there when I was reading the document, but I noticed that it said 5 days before the meeting, we could submit items to add to the agenda, and I didn't know if it was possible. I mean, I could just write it in my calendar too, so I shouldn't make it your responsibility, but I wondered if we could get a reminder, a week before the meeting, that if you had new agenda items to submit them.
Absolutely, that's a good idea. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Tina, will you let us know before the next meeting if we need to meet in person or if it's optional?
Yes, we should get some more clarification on that soon.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any other further commissioner comments? Okay, we can set the next regular meeting, which Tina stated already, September 14th at 6 o'clock. Anything else, Tina?
I don't have anything. We
Okay.
just need a motion to adjourn and then roll call vote.
Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Can you state
Thank you, Commissioner Ross.
Can you state the time?
It is 7:53 p.m.
Can I get a second motion?
I second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Sanchez, 7:53. The adjournment passes, and then roll call vote.
Yes, please.
Okay. Vice Chair Rojas,
Here.
Yes.
Yes. Here and yes.
you're at yes. Commissioner Sanchez,
Here and yes.
here and yes. Commissioner Ross,
Here and yes.
okay, and Chair Chiato, yes. So the meeting is adjourned at 7:54.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
You want the
Next time.
documents?
Bye.